Alright, I'm gonna get me some lunch and I'm gonna go to Hardees, or as it's known on the West Coast, Carl's Jr. So I don't even know what I'm gonna get. I don't know what Hardees has. They got stuff for $2.99 or 2 for $5. Charbroiled burger double deals. Let's see what they got. First star with cheese, original Angus burger, Frisco bacon cheese, the big hearty Western bacon burger. I think I'll do the superstar with cheese. Hi, I'll get the number 2 with
Number 2, medium or large?
Medium. Do you have Diet Dr. Pepper?
Yes.
Okay. Yep, a number 2 with Diet Dr. Pepper.
Anything
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have onion rings?
Yeah.
Can I substitute onion rings or just add an onion ring? Thank you. Do I wait here or pull up? Okay, thanks. Okay, cost me $12.08. Number 2 at Hardees. It's heavy. And I substitute the onion rings. So let's take a look at the onion rings here. It said it was like 90 cents more for the onion rings, but look pretty good. I mean, they're the yeah, they're real onion rings, real batter dipped onions. I'm sure they're frozen, but they're not like the minced onions. Got a little bit of salt on them, just right. Crispy. It's good. Could use some ketchup, but that's alright. It's hard to dip in ketchup when you're driving. Yeah, good. Got me out. Diet Dr. Pepper. It tastes a little off, but whatever. It's fast food, you know. And as I mentioned before in my other videos, fast food ain't exactly cheap anymore. Oh, they did give me ketchup. Cool. Get another onion ring. Put some ketchup on it. Yeah, I remember. Of course, it's been a while, and the you know what is raised prices quite a bit. Thanks to Brandon, inflation is pretty much out of control. I'm fortunate enough to have a job that pays relatively well. But I can still afford to eat out. Now, eating out has always been more expensive than cooking at home, right? Or bringing your lunch, but still, it wasn't that much more as compared to today. So, just an example, like if you went and bought some chicken, like chicken breast, even chicken breast is like a good price for chicken breast is $4 or $5 a pound. So say you bought a pound of chicken breast, $4, worst case scenario, or $5. You go home, you cook it, buy a loaf of bread for $1, $2 maybe. And yeah, you're paying for gas and all that, or electric, or whatever your stove uses. So for $5 and some change, you can have a chicken sandwich. But chicken sandwiches are like $6 or $8, or yeah, about $8. So you're, what's that, like 20% higher? I don't know. I can't math and drive at the same time. But so it used to be not that much, maybe 10% more to eat out, because you're paying for somebody to cook it and all that. But yeah, I don't know if you can eat a whole pound of chicken breast, so maybe half a pound of chicken. Yeah. So $2 for the half a pound of chicken, and we'll say 50 cents for the bread, right? Cruise control going here. So whatever. We'll say it's double the cost, somewhat, to eat a chicken sandwich versus getting a sandwich at home. Same thing with a hamburger. And this is a double meat patty goodness, and it doesn't look too bad. Looks all right. And of course, it will need the Colonel Richard Hunter hack of putting onion rings on it. But let's say a pound of hamburger, the cheap stuff. Well, we'll say even the expensive stuff. I think I can get hamburger for $5 a pound. Right? With a little ketchup on it. And so you buy so you buy a pound of hamburger for $5, and say you want a really big burger. So you make a half-pound burger. So a half-pound burger is $2.50, right? So you fry it up yourself. Bun, probably $2.50 for a pack of 8 buns. So you divide that by 8. It's definitely less than $12, right? A couple of slices of cheese. But here you go. $12. Of course, you have to cook it all yourself. But I'm on the road, so I don't have a grill or a frying pan. So it's Hardees number 1 or number 2. Here we go. That's good. Onion rings add just another level, ticking up a notch. Now, I wouldn't say it's worth $12, but in today's economy, that's what they're going for. And it is good. That rattling is steel bar I'm transporting.
Anyway, back to my previous video about traditions, right? And like I said, some traditions are good because they make sense that most people, I would say 90% of the population, can get behind. Yeah, that's a good idea. I can see why that's practical, or they've been taught by your parents all your life, such as it's polite not to cut people off when they're talking. That's a good traditional thing to do, or polite societal norm. But things that I find kind of annoying are like cultural norms that not all cultures believe the same way. So that means it's not a human thing. It's somebody made it up, and sheep basically just carry it on. Like holding the door. I don't hold the door just for women. I hold the door for anybody because it's the polite thing to do. And it's not like they're not going to be able to get through the door if you don't hold it for them. But it's just a convenient thing. Little convenient things. But things like, in certain cultures, talking with your mouth full is unpolite, impolite. And in other other cultures, it's normal. Everybody does it. Or most everybody does it. Now, you know, everything has a kind of a center, middle of the road kind of thing where, so I try to keep my mouth shut when I'm chewing. I don't smack my food. But if I have something to say or I'm involved in a conversation, I'll try not to like spit food while I talk. But it's not a big deal. But I know people who are conditioned to where it really, really aggravates them when somebody eats or chews with their mouth open or talks with their mouth full. Again, it's a made-up thing. There's nothing medically wrong with doing it. And seeing people, I can see where if somebody is like overtly gross about eating their food, right? Letting it drip out of their mouth or spit food out of that yeah. Because that is medically, could be medically improper. You know, you're spitting bacteria into either the common food or other people's food. But that's the worst case scenario. But for the most part, there are cultures who share food where they eat with their hands and stick it in their mouth and share a communal bowl of food. And they're not exactly falling over dead, you know? And the other weird cultural thing in some cultures is you're not supposed to show other people the bottom of your feet because that's rude. Now, granted, if that is what is taught in the culture and you do it on purpose, okay, you're being a jerk doing that, right? Kind of like hand gestures at other people. But the actual hand gesture itself is a made-up thing. Some cultures, the same hand gestures that are considered impolite in one culture may be a nothing in another culture. So, but the fact that it is considered impolite and taught as a child growing up in most families here in the U.S., that one hand gesture is impolite. If you purposely do it towards another person, then, you know, it is an insult. Just like in Italy, this is insulting. In England, the word bloody is an insult. There are words in the U.S. that are insulting to other people, but in other countries, it's just a word. So traditions, yeah, I get it, are important in some ways, but I think a lot of people put too much value, too much stock in getting offended when somebody who doesn't understand what the cultural norms are do things that are culturally impolite in your culture. I was just recently in Japan beginning of the year, so I was looking up videos because, you know, I don't want to piss people off. I do care. I just think some of it's silly. But in Japan, supposedly, you don't point like this, you point like that. Why? I don't know. I don't think they know. But it's always been that way. See, if you ask people who think something is impolite, and you ask them why, where does the impoliteness originate? Why is it impolite to do that? Chances are most of them can't tell you why. It's just always been like that, right? So I guess one, I'm just ranting because it just kind of came to mind as I watched some of these videos about traditions and stuff. And two, I just don't take too much stock into traditions that people really don't understand what the origin of why something is considered impolite. So basically that's why I'm saying it. The other thing is burping. Right? Just JoJo sometimes burps in her videos. I burp when I drink beer. It's a natural human reaction or human condition. nobody can tell me that they've never burped in their life or inadvertently burped in a social setting. You know, I say, excuse me, you know, but yeah, it's a relief of gas. And fortunately, it doesn't smell when you burp most of the times than if you expel the gas in the other direction, right? and actually, there are some cultures where people expect you to burp because that is a sign that you enjoyed the food. See, and I'm not on board with that extreme either because somebody made it up that you have to burp, right? One culture says you're not allowed to burp, and another culture says you have to burp. Both of them are just made up. So, unless all cultures or 90% of cultures agree, I don't put much stock in those types of social norms. I follow them because I'm a part of society, but if I inadvertently or accidentally do something that is impolite, and I didn't know it was impolite, I couldn't care less. Like, okay, sorry, not sorry. So, there you go. Good burger. I don't know if I'd buy it again, but it is good. That's the other thing. One more thing. Guess where that comes from? Just because something's expensive doesn't mean it's good. Just because something has had a lot of work put into it doesn't mean it's good. Like art. You know, somebody could have spent months or years making some kind of art. Doesn't mean the art is good. Somebody could have done something in 5 minutes if they're really, really talented, and that suits your taste. It's good. It doesn't matter if it looks like what they're trying to paint. You know, abstract art. I've seen stuff made by really, really famous people. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't buy that. And I've seen stuff made by amateur artists. It's like, that's pretty good. I'd buy that. I don't know if I'd pay more than $100 or $1,000 for it. So, you know, it's all subjective. And some people, it's funny. There's a story where this dude goes into a museum and tapes a banana, an art museum, and tapes a banana to the wall. And people are like, oh, that's so creative. Oh my gosh. I see that this is a manifestation of this or that, or wow, I really see. It's like the dude taped a banana to the wall. And people are going gaga over it. It was like, really? You know, it's people have weird ideas of what, and that's fine. If somebody really likes that, go home, tape a banana to your wall. You know, that's extreme. But when it comes to where they expect you to also, that you must also appreciate that as art, no. And you know, I think at this point, I think it's always happened in society. And I'm sure everybody can think of a time where bad things like that has happened during history, where people got on board because everybody can think of a time where masses of people did bad things because that was the, you know, that was the rule of the land, or the purveying ideology. But anyway, you know, that kind of all ties them together. I don't know if I'm going to keep. See, I got 14 minutes in this video already. Actually more, because this is the second part of the video. But I'm going to eat the whole thing just for JoJo. And for Colonel Richard Hunter. Would I say it's a smash? Yeah, sure. $12 today. for a big double meat burger, onion rings, and a medium drink. It's the norm. That's the norm. It is delicious. It didn't look like it was run over by a steamroller when I pulled it out of the paper. Real good combination of flavors. I can taste the onions, the meat, the cheese, everything pairs well together. The bun's not overly soggy. It's comfort food. I like it. Yeah, Hardees does a good job. Yeah, that was good. That was a good bite there. I had some ketchup on it. I just saw a billboard, kind of out of the corner of my eye. It kind of looked like Ron DeSantis, but it was like a lawyer billboard. I don't know, that guy put that up on purpose because he looks like Ron DeSantis or not. It has a grilled taste to it, so that's another plus to this burger. I probably won't eat any dinner. Well, I still got onion rings to eat, but I'll eat those offline. Alright, folks. Thanks for watching my rant and my mukbang. I'm doing Hardees bump.